We'll get there. For me personally, I had a very simple week. It was, as you can imagine, a week of striving.
Yeah.
And it was fruitful. I finally broken into the celestial floor.
Congrats. I got in there once and then was quickly ejected.
Oh, I mean like permanently. Or at least like with the VIP thing for now, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. No, I got in I got into the challenge many times and kept getting kicked out because I was getting bodied by like
There's
again
some
real
freaks in there.
real fucking names. People who I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's up? It's Arturo." Yeah, you know, there's some like some people in there doing their thing, but no, I mean with the VIP, so that's cool. And not and then yeah, I like running into familiar faces. I got to do a longer set with Wool last night or so. Had some good times. He's got a beast Faust that I have to respect, but I like doing those multiple sets because you learn the matchup a lot more when you get a chance to figure out what's what. I like I do like that. I mentioned it before, but man, the feature that like sticks you back in training mode with the same opponent you just fought is fucking. It really is like becoming invaluable because I'm leaving everyone like, because now that I'm in the celestial floor permanently or for the next month or whatever, like I'm just getting my shit fucking annihilated way more than ever, and like I'm left with more questions in these matchups than ever before. So like whenever I face a killer and I'm left with like a list of notes that I want to write down, that I do write down, you know, you can just go right to answering a bunch of those questions. That's really nice. Something I did not notice, however, that I'm not too fond of is they have the whole floor system is designed to rethink and reinvent the ranking system of other fighting games, and it has been successful in that the floors allow people to stay within a skill window that they don't have to experience getting blown out if they don't want to, by like experiencing other games where the rank is just a full pool of everyone online, or like keeping it within your zone. What I don't like is that part of this effort to keep things feeling better means that when you go to look at your ratings on your R code or your stats, the game literally does not tell you about your losses in any way, shape, or form that I can find. It only tells you how many wins you have, and it tells you what kinds of wins you have, but it does not tell you how many times you've lost, against who, and what your overall ratio is.
That's some good feel-good technology right there.
Loss data is completely absent from the stats. And I hate that, because it sure does make you feel good if you don't have to look at those numbers, but it also means that tells you nothing, because you know your time and you know how many wins you've made in that time. But for the love of God, I'm trying to improve on my weak spots. If I can't see where they are, you know, that doesn't help. Like, I can feel them. I know
here's
that
your strengths, bro.
I know that I'm getting annihilated by Milias, and I know that like I can feel that from what's happening. But when I go look to recap the stats on it, it doesn't show you. You know?
No, here's your strengths, bro.
I don't like that, man. You can't.
Really strong.
I understand if you don't want to shove it in someone's face. I understand if you don't want to put, you know, KDRs or whatever, like, you know, if you don't want to put the equivalent out there where like you're forced to stare at it every time you queue up for a match, you know, or what plus R does when you're playing in rollback is like it has a win percentage So it shows you like total matches, whatever, you're an overall, and that's kind of how you're divided. So you can see somebody that's like, oh yeah, you've got a 40% win rate and you've got 1,000 matches, or you've got a 40% win rate, and you've got like 20 matches. But it throws, it's like the main thing on your page when you match up with somebody. I understand if you try to de-emphasize it to make people feel better, but the fact that it's nowhere in the game at all, even after digging through the sub menus and stuff. But what we do have is these like not that helpful offense, defense, guts ratings.
Yeah, those charts are always worthless.
CFN on Street Fighter V did the same thing. It's kind of pointless, you know. I'm like, yeah, okay, so, you know, and it tells you like, oh, your move variety is high or your move variety is low. But I'm like, that's not helpful, right? What actually helps you is going to your replays and looking at your replays. But then if I have to go to my replays and then count up the matches I've won and lost there, that sucks.
There's a I want to say it's like a trend that's been going on for a while. Like, I remember, do you remember the Overwatch stat screen?
It's been too long.
Assists are the same as kills.
Okay.
Right? So you'd hit like tab or whatever to see like your scoreboard, and it'd be like there'd be way more points on the board than there were kills in the game. It was like specifically juicing the amount of eliminations to make you feel good. Now I get that it's kind of a class-based game. Like Torbjorn may not have gotten like as many kills as like the Genji or whatever. But, like, I still actually want the fucking number.
Right. So, what exactly does knowing your lost number do, Woolie? LOL. Excellent question. What it does is, if you are trying to improve, right, if you're someone who cares about going over your mistakes and trying to tighten up, because it's a new period of the game, it's a period of discovery, right? Even if you're playing on a regular basis, and you're taking wins and you're taking losses, but you don't know what, you don't know how you're overall doing. Seeing a slight trend towards, you know, better wins with especially certain matchups and certain characters, you can gather that you're overall improving, right? If I see that my worst matchup is 0 out of 10 matches won, but then I start winning them more often, certainly the difference between 0 out of 10 and 1 or 2 out of 10 is you're going to notice it right away. But if you're stuck in that range where you're losing 5 out of 10 matches and then you start getting like 6 or 7 or so, it's a slight indicator of the adjustments you're making help you move in a more productive direction. So if you're someone who doesn't care about anything I'm describing, then that lost number means nothing to you. But if you do want to know, and if you do want to improve in these small ways, which matchup knowledge and like specific losses to certain characters can help you with, it's invaluable data. Why wouldn't you want to know? You know?
It's also interesting because
I hope that answers your question.
With characters that are played less regularly, like, yeah, I know that Milia's kicked my fucking ass in. I'm aware. It's very obvious. I didn't realize that I lost, say, 6 out of 10 matches against Faust, because I've had 14 matches with Faust ever, right? Because he's not popular, right? So you can identify, like, not just, hey, which is my worst matchups or where do I need the most work, but it's also, like, which is the worst matchups that occur the most often.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of working out or exercising and you're trying to lose weight or gain muscle, there's a lot of ways to improve. But like, you can just weigh yourself after working out and that'll be your only metric. But if you're someone who's trying to build muscle, that shouldn't be your only metric. So if your goals are different and you're not just trying to cut weight, then weighing yourself on the scale is not the only thing you want to pay attention to. You want to pay attention to your fat percentage. You want to possibly pay attention to, you know, like if you're looking at your food intake, if you get to a point where I remember at a certain point I was like you know, checking my actual weighing my calories and shit like that. Like all these things can be helpful depending on what your goals are. So offering the data and then letting you choose which ones you want to look at is objectively better than hiding all of it away from you and only giving you your weight.
I have a rebuttal to that, and that rebuttal is, but you're so strong, dude.
The little butler on the tower said that none can match my skill, so I guess I should feel good about that.
Dude, what if you were so strong? Look how many wins you have.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it really is. And the thing is that once you, especially, like, again, the Celestial floor is open fucking season, right? Like, the top of the mountain and the bottom of the Celestial floor are way further apart than the bottom of floor 1 and the top of floor 10. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The distance from floor 1 to 10 is shorter than the distance from the bottom of Celestial to the top of Celestial.
I think I said that when I got there. I don't know if it was on stream or if it was to you, but
yeah,
it's an infinite chasm.
It is. And I was lucky enough to do a set with the #1 ranked Nago last night, for example, and just, you know, I did better than I thought, but the oppression is just like I'm going straight to the lab and taking all the notes I can. Like, there's so much to learn.
Because, like, you think about like a league or something, right? Or StarCraft, right? You got iron, bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamonds, and then whatever the fuck is past that, right? And then each of those have the number rank inside it. And I'm just like, what? How many ranks do you need in a system to stop that giant gap? Because from floor, I started at floor 6 when I started. Floor 6 to 7 felt natural. 7 to 8 felt natural. 8 to 9 natural. 8 to 10, that was tough. And then breaking into Celestial was I'm sweaty, and then fighting the match in Celestial felt like somebody beating me up in real life.
Yeah,
absolute. So, like, what's the magic number? Because it's a curve, right?
You can subdivide it more, but if you put too many, then it just becomes a daunting thing, right? So I for something that's a new experimental attempt at this kind of ranking system, they're smart to not divide it into 50 floors of towers you're climbing, because people would just get exhausted. You know, it would become. Or you'd have to be able to skip like 5 at a time. It'd become a
nice good number.
Yeah, it's simple enough. You don't have to, you know, obsess too much over it. And some
it's
floors,
11.
but then it's still, like I said, it has an hourglass shape to it, right? The number kind of inflates outwards at the top and the bottom. There is definitely, like, people are able to, like, describe like what's going on at each floor now, and it's kind of interesting because I'm seeing, like, there's tips from Maximilian, there's tips from Kizzy K and all these different players about, like, here, oh, are you stuck at floor 7 and you're trying to break into 8? Are you stuck at floor 9 and you want to get to 10? Like, this is the type of tip that'll apply to you and will help you, you know? And that's an interesting thing happening.
They should have a system in which if you use a Roman cancel in a round and do X amount of damage after it, it should just ban you from floors 7 and below.
No, if you do a fast Roman cancel. If you do an FRC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you do a normal Roman cancel, you're somewhere in the middle. If you do a fast Roman cancel, yeah, all right, you're doing something advanced. Yeah.
Because it's an interesting thing where I'm in a very bizarre place where when I was worse at the game, I was having non-stop good close matches. But now that I'm just good enough to be bouncing at 10 to the entrance, I'm having complete wild ping pong matches.
Yes.
That are cakewalks to complete trouncings.
Because the skill level of people who belong up there, again, it's massive gaps. You know, you're running into like your local basement kings, and you're running into Evo champions at this, like in the same gathering. You know,
because rank 10 also includes two very different groups of people. People that manage to crawl their way into the door of the 10th floor.
Absolutely, yes.
As well as the group that is trying to break into the Celestial Temple.
People who set up shop.
That group has the widest variety of skill of any group in the entire system.
Oh yeah, no. There are people sitting in floor 10 like the Crestfallen Knight who are just like, oh look, here comes another one. And Crestfallen can't get up to Celestial, but he's like,
he can stop you,
but he can stop you. And that's all he got, you know? Yeah, totally. You see that. You know, when you're someone who's like, if you're right now, you're trying to, if you're having a hard time getting past like 6 or 7, it's like, you know what your character does, you know what you're doing, and you're doing moves, but you're kind of just winging it in situations and hoping for it to pay off.
You don't have a plan, and you may not have like the feel of it.
Right. Also, you're letting opportunities slide. And occasionally there's things that you should be able to hit or punish that you're not punishing, right? Like 8 and 9, you're landing those punishes, you're doing that stuff, and you have rounds where the person never ever gets a chance to do anything, but you're still unfamiliar with when everyone else does that to you.
Yeah.
You can run a train on everybody when you get your cards right and you guess right. But if you guess wrong and they run the train on you, you don't know how to do anything about that. That's like 8 and 9, you know? So like you can kind of like look at each spot and go like, oh, okay, you're right around this level of like skill, but you're missing this component, you know? And then 10 is like, well, as you know, it's like you have a complete package now, but like you're missing like option selects. You're missing things where you're putting yourself in situations where you have no choice but to lose, and the only answer is don't be standing there, you know, and that takes a long time to figure out, you know, and so that's why I'm like, I want to rush and get I want to get to
let's take a photo of a character fighting Potemkin, and the character is behind Potemkin's standing like just regular idol behind his fist.
Yeah.
You have failed somewhere. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why is Potemkin idol right next to you? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. For more than like a second, you know, in and out. So that's the type of thing where that's what takes the longest to figure out. And I know that, so I wanted to really get up there so that I can find those hot spots quickly. And I'm starting to note them, because that was also, I feel like a big part of my journey in like Samurai Showdown was just like, okay, where am I allowed to be standing at any given point? And this is where, you know, going back and watching your footage, it really helps. If you fight someone particularly strong, or even someone that's around your level, look at you can find the places where it's like, are they kind of unsure of what to do right here, right? Are they kind of like in a spot where they're not really going ham on you and they're waiting to see? Probably it's because you're in a spot where you can do something to them that they don't want, you know?
And if you don't know what that thing is, find out what it is so you could do it.
Exactly. Milia is comfortable jumping around like an asshole next to you and doing all of her bullshit. But when you're at full screen and you have something that threatens her from that range, she has to make some big risks to come in. So you want to see that floundering in their gameplay and be like, oh, I want to keep you there as much as possible, you know? Yeah. So this is what takes a long time to figure out. But yeah.
Or you can just play Soul.
Or if you don't want to do any of that, just play the main character.
If you want to
enjoy the main character privilege.
Grab a banana and just start.
The current top of the ranking on PC is a Soul bad guy whose name is Please Nerf 6S.
That's incredible.
It's the best.
I love it.
It's the best. It's fucking
I love it.
amazing, you know? So, yeah.
It reminds me of, oh god, there's a recent Mario tennis tournament in which, like, the third place winner was a guy who, like, hey, how do you feel about winning third place? It's like, yo, this game is trash. I don't know how to play it. I just picked Baby Bowser and spam trick shot. Fucking fix it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. using that platform privilege, you know?
I think the For Honor one was like the best one ever. Or like took it all the way to the win.
Oh, yeah.
Only to be like, yo, this game is trash. I just used a bug all the way to the top.
Or something along those lines, yeah. You gotta respect the honesty of the name, though. You know, just LOL. Why am I even here? You know. But yeah, having fun with that, and again, I feel like I was way more wary of the system. It has its issues now, but I see floors as like it has a benefit that is tangible that I think you can work with. Let's say you got rid of the Habbo Hotel and you still had just finding a list of names, but you're within a certain category, you know, with an upper and a bottom container. I think you can have a lot of people having a lot more fun with their fighting games, especially in those beginning stages, by keeping some sort of structure like that. So that's not too bad. But for the love of God, don't hide data. Don't hide data just because you think it makes people feel better, man. You know, if you want me to dig through five layers of screens, then I'll do it. But
Woolie, I guarantee you there is a stat man who literally brought up a spreadsheet that says player retention goes down if you show them their win-loss record.
Yeah, so but like at all, because I can do it manually by counting. But it's just annoying to do.
What you're doing right now is arguing for removing the total number of games from the list. You think you're arguing for showing win-losses? What you're actually arguing is for deleting the match history over 30 matches.
So as soon as you get a KO, it just says, "Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter."
You got some good hits in though.
Yeah. Match over. Rematch? Heaven or Hell, Duel 1, let's rock. Match over. Play again? Yeah. Anyway. Put it in the fucking bury it in the EULA text. Make it a really small font of just like, you know, stats for nerds like on Google Chrome. Make you have to earn it, but just let me go look at my shit.
There's nothing to be done about the stat thing. Like, I remember playing Call of Duty a million years ago where anything under 2.0 is garbage. Despite the fact that if you run the math on that in a 6v6 game, like, there's only so much kill to go around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
Then, fine. You want to not... it sucks, but, like, how about... Just go, hey, when I go to the Milia page on my R code, just go, you're doing better. You're doing better. Yeah. And if it's doing worse, just say normal.
I just
normal or doing better.
I just thought of like the actually most predatory, most nefarious microtransaction ever possible for a fighting game as a result of this conversation. Wow, you just got blown up. Do you want to play $1 to not have to fight Milia for 1 hour? No Milias in matchmaking, guaranteed.
Okay. That's hilarious. But that already exists in this game. In this game. It's called people who wait and look at your character choice and then just never go fight you.
Yeah, that's true.
People go and they see your characters and then they just go, I don't want to fight that, so they dodge. You see this really aggressively. I was talking about it, I think, last week, but when you go to the Celestial floor, you can see the very, very picky, choosy people that are like, are you anything but a Kai? Then no, I'm not going to fight you. I will fight you if you're Kai.
My bad matchups. I'm not going to fight my bad matchups. I'm just not going to do it.
You know, and it's
a shame because, I mean, you've never played League, and I doubt you'll ever get in a Runeterra, though there's more chance of that than League. But, like, if those are super popular, and thus they have... You remember me talking about Blitz GG a million years ago? Which was that program that would, like, tell you your slot picks. It would give you the breakdown on your early game, how your money clear, your minute to minute, your trades, and all that shit. There's a Runeterra one which fucking shows you what cards have been played so far by the opponent in their deck, so that they're gone. You know they're gone.
Yeah, that's handy.
It's right. There's totally the potential for a fighting game one of just like an exhaustive breakdown of this kind of thing, but there isn't a fighting game that's popular enough to
warrant that side project,
that kind of ad revenue on a program that helps you do better.
And you know, I mean, we're all only human after all, so I'm not going to pretend that when I see people when I'm not in the training mode auto matchup thing, when I see people queuing up with the Nago mask on, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to fight a Nago mirror. Like, I do have that feeling, but I'm still gonna do it if it's an open space, you know, and it's there. I'm still gonna go fight them, you know. But like, there is that little thing of like, with towers in this system, you can also see people's characters and who they are and whatnot, versus in games where they just serve you your next match. And I think there's benefit to serving people their next match, because the ability to walk up and choose is also making it a little... It's like if you get to Celestial but you've dodged every whatever character,
every single person in there is going to trounce you no matter what character they are.
But the fact that you could even get that far completely deciding I don't want to fight half the cast or whatever.
You know what that means? That means they're smarter than the people who brute forced their way up there with their pure skill.
If you made it up there and you didn't fight a single Mei, you know what I mean?
Then you're a genius. Then you're a smart person.
Yeah. So these are the weaknesses. These are the things that would have to be improved upon, you know?
You ever see those videos of those soul mirrors where they're just standing next to each other, canceling out their fucking success?
I believe it. You don't have to.
It looks like trash.
I don't have to imagine it. Yeah, but I love the skew though, because the characters who get, you know how like when there's a tier list that's like has faults, doesn't has less faults, has more faults, and then carries you, or you have to work hard for it, right? Because there's characters that have like very few faults, but you have to work for it, type of thing. It creates a really interesting thing where, like, in general, Faust players that are higher up know what the fuck they're doing. Like, Wool worked hard to get to the place he's at with that character.
Yeah.
When a Soul player shows up and is in that higher ranking, a lot of the time I'm looking at it like, you're just gonna do whatever you want on Wake Up.
Is he gonna Unga? Or
you literally don't know what blocking is. You don't even know what it is. I've had tons of matches.
My favorite tweet about Soul Bad Guy ever, which was somebody complaining about their, quote, Soul player boyfriend is just doing whatever in training mode, unlike the rest of us who gotta work for our goddamn wins. You could feel like real tension off the text, like this person's top tier is hurting their relationship.
I mean, like, a win is a win is a win. Make no mistake about it. But when I can do a little test, and that is Nago with high enough blood can slice you from really far away. I'm nowhere near you, and I've knocked you down. And as soon as you get up, I'm going to swing the sword. You get hit by it. I'm going to dash up and keep that same far-ass distance that you can't do anything about and swing it again. Do you get hit again? Do you get hit a third time? Okay, you are literally not, you are not even blocking, man. You're so used to being Soul that you're like, I don't have to ever stop. You know? And those are the moments like, right, you made it up here, you got a really good Unga going, but you literally have not held back once.
I saw a photo that was like Soul with Ramlethal's swords floating in front of him, and he was riding on May's dolphin. And it was like it was just the models just like slapped onto like, what if this was one character? It's like, oh my god.
So some people are higher up, but are missing way more fundamentals from that placement because they just didn't have to learn them, you know?
Yeah, I ran into something along floor 9 and 10 when I was going there of like maze that were at the top of 10, and I'm like, you actually don't know how to do anything other than spam that dolphin thing, and it got you here. Like, you actually got all the way here.
Correct.
I don't think you know how to tech throws.
It's like, really interesting.
Like, it's crazy.
You know, and it's like, and they're not gonna last, but it's fascinating because that's the stat on the tier list, the tier list I'm talking about. That's the carry you stat. Carry you stat will allow that to happen. You know, it's really fascinating to take a few games where like you might even lose the first one or so, and then be like, wait, hold on, you know, and then like it takes a second to uncover like, oh, there was nothing underneath this. It was one trick, it was one thing, and that's all there was. I would honestly say that even though they still have to work for it, I noticed similar with Axel. Like there are some Axels that like have no up close game, and Axel can still fight.
I don't need to know what to do when people get in because they're not gonna.
Yeah, and he can, and you do want to have that, you know. But like there are some that are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna panic up close and jump away. I have no other plan, you know. And you're like, oh man, like no, you're missing that part of your game plan there, you know. It's really interesting. It's a fun discovery.